Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another fun-filled podcast here in Rob's Inner Circle on the YouTube channel called Bobby's Short Shorts. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. And like always, we're going to have another exciting show for you guys tonight. You guys don't want to go anywhere. You want to stay right where you are. Yeah. So, it is great to be back in this chair because last week, as you guys well know, unfortunately, we did not have a Rob's Inner Circle because I was away. I was getting well. I underwent some surgery. I was at the hospital. Things went very well, and all of your encouragement was absolutely sensational. And I'm wondering if it isn't those words that actually turned out to be healing words. Anyways, I'm back tonight. I'm kicking, I'm going, and we're ready to kick some serious butt tonight. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Yeah. Okay, guys, I want to give a big shout out to my good friend and producer of Rob's Inner Circle, Miss Jenny Duhame. Jen, thanks very much for being the producer of the show, making things so much fun. And you just add that life to it. It just makes it, you add that flavor. Hey, it's all good. Thank you very much, Jen, for being part of this adventure. Guys, September is the Women's Empowerment Month here on Rob's Inner Circle, and we're well into the month. We got our guest tonight, and we're going to be closing off the series with Teresa Pichano. She's going to be the last guest for the month of September coming up next week. She's a local film producer from Montreal here. So it's going to be another great show. But tonight's going to be another great show as well. So now is now, next week is next week. Okay, guys? One day at a time. Okay, and then we're going to have our, in October, we're going to have our COVID party month. And it's going to be, we're going to be speaking with creative people who have benefited from learning about being one with themselves or stepping out of the box, making this confinement work for them. So it's going to be, it's going to be like how you've been coping with COVID month. And it's going to be here on Rob's Inner Circle. A big shout out to the Daily Struggles fans. We have episode 5 coming out, and it's going to be on the 6th of October. But followed, previous to that, next week, we're going to have our trailer coming out September 29th for episode 5. And episode 5, we got something really, really special coming out because we're going to have 2 cast members who will materialize. That's right. Both Art LeDuc and Jenny Duhame are going to be making their acting appearance on Daily Struggles, and they're going to be bringing something really special to the show. And of course, I do want to mention my good friend and counterpart who plays my wife on the show, Patty Saragosa, who does an amazing job, just like the rest of the entire cast and crew. We are blessed to have all these beautiful people working with us. Hey, God bless you all. And hey, you're making this show all that much better. Last mention, we got 2 people making cameo appearances in this episode, Mr. Claudio Silvio Capri, a local stand-up comedian from Montreal. And we also got Montreal's own podcast king extraordinaire, Mr. Angelo Ange Parella, as well, who makes his second cameo on Daily Struggles. So you guys don't want to miss that. Next week, September 29th, the trailer. Following week, October 6th, the episode comes out. Okay, guys. We ask you to subscribe to Bobby's Short Shorts. You come on, you want to click on our videos, you want to watch them, you want to leave a comment or 2 or many, the more the better. And you want to hit that notification bell so you guys can get all the notifications. And we're going to ask you to do the same thing for the Daily Struggles sitcom channel. And both Rob's Inner Circle and Daily Struggles sitcom, we have our Facebook pages. You want to come on and you're going to come and watch those as well and follow us. Okay, guys, we're moving along. Guys, okay, let's calm down. Just bring the power down, guys. Ooh, that's right. This is the moment, guys, that you slip into your pajamas. That's right, guys. You want to get a nice glass of wine. Oh, my God, it smells so good. We get along so well. And it's going to be for later. Yeah. So, guys, you guys want to relax, right? So, kick your feet up on the edge of the table over here. Make yourselves comfortable. Let us carry the load. We'll take care of you. You guys ready to kick butt? Because I know there's a guest behind the studio here, behind the curtain. I can see her dancing. She's like really going wild here. She can't wait to come on. Okay, we're going to get her on. That's it. Guys, it's time to get it on. Ladies and gentlemen, all the way from beautiful Sunshine Coast, British Columbia, our guest tonight is an established, experienced, and reputable acting coach. Ladies and gentlemen, I can't wait to introduce her. Here she is all the way from Sunshine Coast, BC, Kirsten Clarkson. Hey, Kirsten. Whoa.
There we go.
Oh, there you go. I'm sorry. I had a technical glitch with the audio. Take it from the top, Kirsten. I'm sorry. We missed that.
Yay, Rob.
Hey, nice to have you on Rob's Inner Circle. Fantastic. Thank you very much, Kirsten. You're a wonderful guest. There's lots and lots to talk about. So without further ado, let's get it on. Kirsten,
let's get it on.
You say you have trouble keeping up with the time zones because you got so many customers around the world. What do you mean?
I do. Well, first, I don't think of them as customers. I think of them as clients or actors. I have clients everywhere. I don't think there's a continent that I'm missing. I just recently got a note from Latvia from one of my clients there saying that he booked a commercial and had to go to Germany to shoot it. So I guess I'm in, both countries. So yeah, recently, like in the last phase, Latvia, South Africa, I can't remember where. I think it might be Durban in South Africa, and Germany, England, 2 in England, bookings. So I don't know where I am. I don't know what time it is any given day.
That's totally amazing. So, the world is probably not even big enough for a KC. She's all over the place. So, Kirsten, hey, this is a big honor for you because you're not only an acting coach, but you're also a self-confidence coach. Tell us, does that resemble like a life coach in some way?
It's like a life coach, although I don't do general work. I specifically work on confidence. So if somebody needs help with something in their life, I can recommend a life coach. But if people are looking for somebody to help them with their own confidence issues, then I can help with that. I have a partner that I work with, Robin Grabalinis, who I've known since I was 13 years old. And we've developed the confidence class together. And we've written a book that we're now editing and we'll have out next year.
And you did mention, and you know what? Look, we're going to love doing this. When it's time to release your book, yes, we would love to have you on our show to talk all about that book with Robin.
Absolutely. Robin is wonderful. She's really gregarious and outgoing. You would love to have her on your show. She's a blast.
Well,
thank you, Patty. Thank you for welcoming me to the show. That's so sweet. And
Patty and Jenny, they are both our castmates on Daily Struggles. 2 wonderful women, extremely talented. Did you have a chance to watch our show, Kirsten?
I did. It's really cool. I liked it.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah, cool. I love character-driven kind of work, and especially things that are as quirky and interesting. It's really cool.
It's off the wall. It's something it's new. Of course, the couple thing with Patty and myself, we're a married couple. It's been 30 years. We're married, blah, blah, blah. And it's something that's already been seen before, but we have a lot of talent on the cast and crew. So we're blessed for that.
I think that, it's interesting that you say it's been seen before. There have been, Married with Children. There have been a lot of shows about married couples. But that doesn't make it any less interesting or innovative in the way that you're doing it.
Well, to me. You.
Yeah, absolutely. And why stop yourself from doing your version of something that's been done before? Because it's all been done before, right? I mean.
For sure. Hey, listen, KC, you coached your first customer to an Oscar-winning performance, and the main character in that movie is none other than your friend, Maxine. Talk to us about this.
Well, that was crazy. So I was my client Terry Chen, who has a movie coming out right now called Falling with Viggo Mortensen and Lance Henriksen.
Oh,
I want to look at that movie because it's a beautiful story about two men who are married, and one of the men, his father is involved in dementia. He has dementia, and so they're trying to help him through that. And he's a little bit of a bigot and doesn't like having a gay son. So it's a really interesting story. But that's what Terry has coming out right now. When I first coached him about 20 years ago, he was up for the role of Almost Famous, which he booked, and he has not stopped working since. So when he booked that part, he played the part of Ben Fong Torres, who was the owner of a very important magazine that I can't remember the name of. Oh, I hate it when this happens, but it does. Rolling Stone magazine. He was one of the founders of Rolling Stone magazine. So he played that role, and I went to the theater to watch the film. And while I was watching the film, actually, I've got a little picture of it, of the movie.
Sure.
This is, oh, no, that's not going to work. This is Terry with Jodie Foster, but who was not in the movie. It just happens to be some of the promo I have. So we have Terry's Jodie Foster in another movie that was some sort of space movie. I can't remember. But this is Almost Famous. And the character, Penny Lane, struck me as incredibly familiar while I was watching the film. And I thought, I think that's my friend Maxine. I'm pretty sure. And it turned out that it was. So Maxine was living in Los Angeles, and one day she met this guy from England, and he turned out to be Bernie Taupin. And if you're not familiar with him, he's Elton John's songwriter.
Yes.
Yeah. So she was a dancer, tiny dancer. And they got married, and their story was very similar to how the Penny Lane character, I should say, is very similar to Maxine in that she's just so beloved and interesting and easy to be around and just a delight. So that was how that worked. I didn't ever even ask her because I read an article from Cameron Crowe, who directed the movie, and he said it was Maxine's. I was like, oh, wow, that's crazy. Yeah. And then she said, yeah, I think that was me. So yeah, so that was really neat. That was a very special moment where one of my clients and one of my friends' stories intersected. So that was that.
Okay. You're presently living on a farm. Okay. So how do you manage to carry out farm duties, to be a mom, a wife, a coach, a producer, all of this at the same time? What's the formula?
Well, I walk around in my bathrobe and drink a lot of wine. That's what I do. I just do what you do. I'm following your way of doing from now on.
The glass of wine, wherever you go. It's great. Especially at the end of the day, it makes it decompress.
Oh my goodness. I don't think I could live without it. It's what I live for at the end of the day. But what I do is I've been doing all of my coaching online for 8 years. Previous to that, I did a little bit online. I had a client who was in Australia right when Skype became popular.
Okay.
And he was doing a show. His name's Caleb Worthy, and he was doing a show called Storm World. But he had an audition for another show. I don't think it was Austin and Ally, but it might have been. Austin and Ally was another show that he was in. That if you were a kid, you would be like, oh my God, that's dead. So he was auditioning for a show in LA, but he was in Australia. So I helped him. Thanks, Jenny. So I helped him do his audition. So that, as far as I know, was one of the first Skype auditions I've done. which was really cool. And I wouldn't have thought about it, but my friend was there who is very savvy. His name's Tink, and he was designing the show. And so he's like, do it on Skype. It'll be perfect. So we did it and recorded it, sent it in, and he booked it. At that time, though, you had to send it in as a DVD. So he had to record it there and send the DVD, and then he booked it. So that was cool.
Yeah, and you know, when you have these artists that come to you for coaching and all that, and they end up booking one of those auditions, can you describe to us? I know the feeling is sensational and all that, but you must be on top of the world knowing that your customer that you just coached scored a big role.
Yes. Like, I can't describe it to you. It's
hard.
It's transporting. Like, it is so beautiful to see it happen, especially the first time. You know, for each client that it happens to the first time, the first audition and the first big show, you know, like, those are amazing things. And it blows me away, and it brings me to tears every time, because I've seen the struggle. I've seen people go, you know, deep into what they need to do to get to that place, you know, get there by fluke. It's very rare that anybody gets there by fluke. In fact, I have a client who's doing extremely well right now, and she worked so hard and for years didn't see any success. And her contemporaries who were the same age as her and looked like her were booking like crazy. But she just has this her name's Madeline Arthur. She played a character called Chris in a series of movies called To All the Boys I've Loved Before. And she has such a unique spark that it was hard to place her in a supporting role, because she just is, she's like a cross between a pixie and an old French singer, you know, like she's got this vibe that's very interesting. And so it took a while, and it was very hard for her. But when she booked her first show, I probably had like a full-on breakdown, because I was just so relieved. Like, thank God, somebody else I see, you know, because she was just so lovely. But I have a photo, if I can show that.
Sure, by all means.
Yeah. So what's interesting is she was a hang on, I'll bring the photo up at the same time. I'm getting the hang of this. Thanks for showing me this. It's really cool. So she was, did I do it right? Oh, I did. Good.
Yeah.
She was a gymnast, and she had to make a choice about whether to be a gymnast or an actor, because it's very hard to do both. They both are very demanding. But she was not an especially, she wasn't not outgoing, but she was a quiet, reserved, dignified human being. But she needed to build that confidence. So if you can see, you see in the photo on the left where she's like in a sweatshirt or tank top or whatever, and like yelling, she had to learn how to bring that passion and fierceness to the work, and to build her confidence to be able to do the work. And so I use a method called the Michael Chekhov method. He was Anton Chekhov's nephew. And so he was also Stanislavski's first student, one of his first students. So he developed this system of movements that help you feel emotion in your body by the way you move. It creates the emotion rather than you pulling the emotion. So I worked with her on both physical confidence and emotional connection, being able to release those emotions. And the proof is in the pudding. When you look at this picture, she just looks like a star. She's got that, you know, star quality. She always had it, but she had to accept it, because it's very difficult to accept in yourself, especially if you're somebody who values being humble. So that was a big part of the lesson. And like I said, it took years. So she didn't book for years, and she just kept studying, and we did one incremental lesson after the other to get her to where she needed to be. But yeah, that was an amazing experience.
That's a beautiful story. And, like, it just goes to show that there is hope out there. There's a lot of actors who are trying and trying and trying, and your turn will eventually come.
You know what? There's something that a kind of a little gift I can give to the actors who are listening, if there are. I assume there are.
Yes.
Acting, the system that was developed through Stanislavski was and has been used forever, and is currently used, was developed for theater. In the world that we live in with streaming, we have to compete for attention from other exciting things. So the system that actors are being taught in is not.
We have a technical glitch. Well, our connection froze up. Ladies and gentlemen, stand by as we try to. We're back.
Yay.
Okay.
So what I was saying was, if you look at the scripts and pay attention to the changes, there are twists and cliffhangers all through scripts now that didn't used to be there. And when actors are, that's true, Jenny, but also a different kind of thinking is really needed, because in terms of the way I've been coaching actors and the way people are writing scripts, there's a lot more twists. And if actors are just looking for that connection to the other person and trying to change the other person, they're missing out on some of the twists. Like the way that people were taught and have been taught forever isn't quite as effective as if you're looking for incremental little shifts in the material. So that's one thing that I would recommend to all actors, is don't expect the old way of training to take you into the new way of working. You have to pay attention to the scripts. And the other thing that I'm sure you know this, casting directors only watch a tape for about 20 seconds before they turn it off. So those 20 seconds are really important. So if you have that first eighth of a page and really work it, then you're going to have a much more successful audition. And that's a fact.
So you're presently writing and producing a series which is in the editing stages. Talk to us about it.
I am. Yeah. It's called Hotel Nowhere, and it's about a talent agent who's married to another talent agent, and he turns out to be a bit of a Harvey Weinstein kind of guy. So yeah, so she leaves him and comes back to her Sunshine Coast home after being away for 30 years. And because there is no gossip at that time, because COVID is hitting, so there's nothing going on, a gossip columnist who's kind of like a Perez Hilton guy decides to ruin her life and expose her family issues and to the world through his gossip site. And when she gets home, it's discovered that her family is mixed race, and she's been hiding it. So a lot of explosive stuff is happening. There are a lot of twists, just like you see in most Netflix or Hulu or Disney Plus shows. And it's been a lot of fun to do it. I absolutely loved it. Really fun. And one of the stars is an actor called Evan Adams, who's also a doctor, and he's the head of the Native Health Authority here in Canada. And he's also the star of a film called Smoke Signals that was the seminal film about First Nations people has been made in North America, and just was recently awarded a spot in the American Film Institute. So I'm his acting coach as well. And he and I have made a scholarship for First Nations actors as well. And as far as I know, it's the first of its kind, as you were saying. Actually, you were the one who made me think of that.
Hey, by the way, before we forget, very important, can you repeat the name of the movie, please?
Of Evan's movie, it's Smoke Signals.
And your movie as well?
Oh, it's called Hotel Nowhere.
Hotel Nowhere, okay.
Yeah, it's not a movie. It's a pilot for a series.
Okay.
And we're still in the midst of editing. We'll see what happens. But the entire series takes place on this Perez Hilton style gossip site. So you find out all about this by going to the gossip site and clicking on the episodes. It's kind of fun. I've loved doing it. Yeah, it was really neat. We shot it. My students and I shot it they shot it in their homes. So I wrote it, sent them the script, and then they shot their stuff in their homes, which was really cool. So you get to see into some pretty interesting places. It's for sure.
And when do you think it's going to be coming out?
I'm hoping for next year. I want to take my time with it. I want to do it well. I think there's a few elements that need to be worked on. I would like to get, there's some music that I'd like to get. Okay. I've got some options for, so we'll see. I'm hoping to get a song from the Go-Go's.
The Go-Go's, okay.
Yeah, the song Our Lips Are Sealed? The
Go-Go's, that's the all-girls band, right?
Yeah. I used to hang out with Gina Schock, the drummer, when I was young and living in LA. So I feel a connection that way, but also I just love the song, and it's perfect for a show about gossip. So so I'm hoping for that. There's a few things I have to do to get it all together.
Well, you're going to keep busy, that's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
So off air, we were talking about off air. Since you're in BC, for those of us who are young enough to remember, there was a popular CBC series. By the way, hang on. Now that you got your glass, I want to do a toast. So that your Hotel Nowhere has a lot of success, and all your endeavors will all be successful. Cheers to you, Casey.
And right back at you. Cheers to you too. With your endeavors.
Thank you very much.
I love your show, by the way. It's really good. I went through and clicked on all of the episodes and watched a little bit of each just to get a taste of what it's like. It's really good. It's really good.
Thank you very much. Thank you. We're very flattered to hear that. Thank you. So we're talking about BC. We're talking about a popular show that was filmed quite a while ago, like in Gibson, BC. Does anyone remember the Beachcombers?
Oh, I do.
So you're about 6 hours away, you were saying, right?
Yeah, we're you have to take 2 ferries to get to us from the mainland. So you take a ferry to Gibson, drive up, and then take a ferry to Powell River. So it's a bit of a haul. Yeah, depends on how fast you drive.
So that restaurant that was there in the Beachcombers, Molly's Reach, is that still there?
It's still there, but I hear there's a little bit of trouble. Obviously, with COVID, there are issues, and I think I'm not sure. I can't remember. I think there was something about the owner selling it or something like that, and also the boat, the Persephone. I think that had to be moved. Oh, thank you, Patty. Thanks. That's very sweet. Yeah, crossing fingers. We'll see how it goes.
Well, you're a very talented person. I talked to you before we went on air. We had our pre-show interview as well, and you're just so talented. You have a lot to offer.
Oh, well, thank you very much. Yeah, I love my work. Absolutely love it. Yeah, I've been doing this for 25 years, and it's. I feel refreshed actually since COVID, because I started offering a class. First of all, I was very devastated because I had this idea in 2019, New Year's Eve. I thought I made a resolution that I was going to coach as many actors as I possibly could. I was going to mentor them. So I got this I had this idea, and then COVID hit, and I was just devastated. I thought, how am I going to do this? I had started a Facebook group, Screen Acting. So it's Facebook group, Screen Acting School. And I had people in the group, but I thought, how am I going to mentor them when there's no work? I'm so used to training people and they get jobs. And then I started this class. I was depressed, really. I was really sad because I didn't know what to do. And I thought, well, I can coach actors. So I decided to offer a free class every day of the week, 5 days a week. Wow. And I did. And I had like over 500 people in the class. It was insane. We did it through Zoom, and it was really beautiful. It was a great community. And that's how I expanded out of my group, because I'd originally only been teaching very few people for the last 20 years. I just get a client and they stick with me, and I don't really meet new clients. So this has been really beautiful because I've got to meet all of these really amazing artists from around the world. And further to that, I realized during COVID, the place that offered a safe harbor or a connection to each other was Netflix and Hulu and Disney Plus. And it was actors that people turned to. It was artists that people turned to for a connection, to feel loved and at home. And that made me feel so rejuvenated. Like, this is what I'm meant to do. And the art of acting is noble because it brings us together and keeps us safe and makes us feel love toward each other. So more than just being able to help people's dreams come true, now I want to help mentor people so that they have what it takes to make it, whether I'm their coach or not. So I do not take new clients. I never take new clients, but I have classes, and I have this free class that I do on Mondays, and I'm able to mentor people, like large groups of people. And it's really amazing. It's really amazing. And what I'm hoping is that they will take the type of training that I'm doing and expand it. Like, I've coached a couple, there's another coach that I worked with many years ago called Julian LeBlanc, who coaches children. And so do I, but so does he. And he was my client, and I taught him how to teach. He's developed his own thing, but he's taken the stuff that we worked on and made it his own and done something else with it. And I'm really hoping that a lot of actors will come out of this program and, be able to do good work. There's a lot of work out there. A ton.
And what's going on? There's a phenomenon going on right now, is that a lot of people are self-producing their own stuff. And all of a sudden, like you were telling me off air, there's no more Hollywood. Hollywood's all over the place.
There's no Hollywood. No. And there hasn't been Hollywood for years, but there's really not Hollywood now. It's really not. Executive producers live outside of Hollywood. Some of the biggest executive producers you can imagine live outside of Hollywood. It's the work is being done where the work is being done. Usually it's economics. So Vancouver is cheap, Montreal is cheap. Why not shoot here? And that's what they do. And it hasn't existed for years, but now even more so.
Okay, so you had been producing 20 years ago. You took a hiatus. You went into coaching, and you told me that coaching has been the most rewarding thing in your life. Can you expand on that?
Yeah, but first I want to say, aside from my family, because my children and my husband and
naturally, yes, of course.
Yeah, but coaching is, it's a trip, man. It's a real trip. Like, I've directed, I've produced, I've worked in production, I've been a casting director, I've been an agent, I've done just about everything I wanted to do in film and TV, or film and series. But coaching, I get to take a peek into somebody else's soul. And if you ever get a chance to do it, I mean, acting is like that, right? You see the other person's soul, especially when you're doing the work to learn how to act. You really get to see the other person's soul, and to be able to do that repeatedly, and to see that, like, one of the actors I coach, his name is Calum Worthy, and he's from a very young age was interested in protecting the environment, and fundraising to help people with cancer, and now he's one of the ambassadors for Al Gore's organization for global climate change. He works with Bono's organization, One, helping girls and women. And he's still raising money for cancer. His best friend, Patrick, had cancer when he was a kid. So I saw into that soul when he was young, and still see into his soul. I get to work with him. And I like being a part of a life like that. It's, I get to coach him on how to understand human behavior, and I get to see what he's like as a person, and that's a beautiful thing. And he's got a cool style of just enjoying every single aspect of his life, which is really cool.
Did you have a clip you prepared?
I do have a little video. Yeah.
Calum?
Yeah, I do. He's just talking about how
and this is a very popular actor among the youths, you were saying, Casey.
Yeah, I mean, if you watched Austin and Ally, you love that. But he was also in a movie recently with Patricia Arquette called The Act, where he played a young man who murdered his girlfriend's ex-boyfriend, or his girlfriend's mother, pardon me. It's I think they won an Emmy for that. Here he is talking about, right, I've got to do it this way. There we go. Talking about acting.
Hi, I'm Calum Worthy, and I am an actor. First of all, I want to thank Kirsten for asking me to make this video. I love acting. It's my favorite thing in the world. I know it sounds corny to say, but it truly is. And I think if you're an actor and you're watching this, I'm sure you feel the exact same way. Kirsten, you have had such an incredible impact on my career, and I want to thank you for that. But before I get into that, I want to talk a little bit about acting. So, what does it mean to be an actor? That's a big question a lot of people have. At what point can you say, hi, I am an actor? Is it when you book your first role? Is it when you get your first agent? Is it when you are in acting class? At what point can you say that? Well, the truth is, whether you are in class, or you are practicing alone in your place, if you are on set of a movie or a TV show, or if you're on Broadway, if you're doing a commercial, if you're working across Main Street, you're an actor. It's the same process. It doesn't change. So I would encourage all of you that if you are studying your craft, or if you are working currently, to say, hi, I'm an actor, because you are.
Yeah, I think that's really important to say, because there's this element, and it's unintentional, I think, sometimes, where people say, what are you in? If you're an actor, what are you in? And it's really about the work. If you're learning to act, or if you're acting, you're an actor. And if you accept that, then the professionalism will come, and more work will come. And I'll have to say, like, most of the actors I train have never had a day job. And it's because they fulfill that idea very quickly that they are actors. Some of them do. I have a client who's on a series. She's been on series after series after series, but she keeps her day job because she's a little bit careful about, not ever being in a situation where she doesn't have dough. But yeah, a lot of the actors I trained, that's just where they roll.
Okay, so how did you get started off in the acting business, Casey?
Well, my dad was a musician, so I got experience being on stage because he couldn't afford a babysitter, so we just went on the road with him, and that was fun. Or he wanted to be with us, like we would, go out on the road and hang out with our dad. And then I don't have a voice and I can't play instruments, so I figured I probably should be an actor. And acting school. And in acting school, I directed a play. And when I directed the play, it did really well. And then from there, I directed a short film and it did well. And I was also coaching my classmates and they were booking. So it all started to happen when I was in school, and the direction I ended up going was coaching. That was the most fulfilling thing. And also I had a little taste of Harvey Weinstein when I was young, when I was a director, and he was quite vulgar, and it turned me off. It really turned me off. I had a movie that looked at picking up, and there couldn't follow through on. So that never happened. And I'm not the only one, and as everybody knows now, but at that time I was in my early 20s and I was young and scared, and I just didn't want to be involved in that kind of world. My dad is a missionary, and I had those values. I'm not a religious person myself, as we talked about, but I have the values, and I couldn't live in that world. So part of what I wanted to do by being a coach was prepare people to have the confidence to stand up for themselves and to do what's right, even under really extraordinarily difficult situations. That's always been really important to me, especially for girls and women.
Okay, and this is the type of thing that happens not only to women; it happens to men as well.
Yeah, it has happened to some of my clients. Yeah, and you just have to be able to draw the line. In fact, I recommend when you're dealing with your agent to tell your agent what is important to you and what you will and won't do before you even begin going out. Because, for example, I never coach horror films anymore. I think I've coached one. I don't like them. I coached Brahms' The Boy with Katie Holmes a little while ago. My client, her scenes weren't with the super scary stuff. So I didn't have to do too much work. And I coached one kidnapping movie. But for the most part, I guess they know. My clients know. But I don't like having that stuff in my heart. I'm greatly affected by my work, and I spend a lot of time walking around my property decompressing.
I got that.
From the work, quite often when you coach children and you coach women, you often have to be the bad guy because acting is about conflict. So I'm the abusive parent. I'm the rapist. I'm the bad boyfriend because my clients are the person who's getting kidnapped, the person who's getting raped, So when I'm having to do that all the time, I have to draw the line. I can't be always hurting people. So I just, I do a great job when I do it, which is why people book the parts. But I have to not only take my client through the process of being abused, but then I have to abuse them. So I have to just say no. I won't do horror films. Quite frequently, they're just too gross. Yeah, it is an important subject. It's very important for agents. fair.
We're having a bit of a technical glitch over here. The internet connection is a little bit difficult down in BC. Hopefully,
Unfortunately.
there she's back. Oh my God, we're getting a little worried, Casey. They're back. Yay.
I was just saying it's hard on the agent if you don't tell them ahead of time, because they can't guess. They can't know.
And then next thing you know, like you get entangled in this, and it's like, if you weren't warned about it, it's like, hey, what do I do? Kirsten, okay. Ladies and gentlemen, we are still speaking to Kirsten Clarkson. She's an acting coach. She's from British Columbia, Canada. Very, very interesting evening we're having with Kirsten. Right now we're experiencing some internet connection difficulty back in the Sunshine Coast, where she is in BC, probably an area where there's a little bit less reception for internet and all that. But we hope to be getting Kirsten back. There she is. Yay! It's not your fault. It's not your fault. We understand.
Oh, the internet on the so it probably is me, but regardless, we're back. Yeah, I was just saying that when you don't tell your agent what your restrictions are, then they have to regret to the casting director, and then the casting director is pissed off at them. So that not only impacts you, but all that agent's other clients. Because if casting's mad at your agent, then casting director's not going to call your agent. So it really ricochets when you don't tell your agent what your issues are, what you won't do.
So it's a very delicate balance. Sorry, go ahead.
It really is. I was just going to say I have a workshop called How to Motivate Your Agent. Okay. And really what I should have called it is how to not piss off your agent. Because there are so many actors say things that piss off their agent that really they couldn't possibly know, that this is going to make their agent angry. But, like agents spend their whole day trying to get you work. And then if you email them and say, is there anything out there for me? It's very frustrating. They spent their whole day. And almost every actor says that. Almost every actor or parent of an actor, will call and say, so is there anything out there? So what you really should do is say, hey, I was working on this in class. I've been working on a mean girl character. Internet. There we go.
Okay.
Yeah. So just saying, giving your agent tools is the best thing you can possibly do. Give your agent information about what you're doing. Show them your work so that they can to casting directors.
And it's also, I'm sure you're going to agree with me, it's also very important because, an agent has a few customers. It's also good that from time to time, I don't know, maybe once a month, you give your agent a call, you touch base, how's everything going? Is there anything out there? I'm doing some workshops.
No, you don't. Is there anything out there? You don't. Is there anything out there? Never, ever is there anything out there. This is what I've been doing to help you, is what you do. I've been working on this in class. Don't call your agent, email your agent. Calling agents are nobody likes to be on the phone anymore. And agents are certainly that way. Every agent that I talk to hates phone calls. Hates them because they take up time. So yeah, I know you're probably one of the bad guys. No, it's what you can do is you can look at what's shooting in your area, look at the kind of roles that are being cast, and work on those kinds of roles and tell your agent, I'm working on a Riverdale type. I'm working on this kind of thing, so that they can say, oh, Robert's been working on this kind of role. Like there's a series, one of my Gio Leone, who's a really good actor who lives in Montreal and is a client of mine and was on my show. He plays the villainous bad guy. He was just playing a bad guy on a show that's shot in Montreal. So I don't know much about Montreal, but I know that there are shows that are being shot in Montreal where there are sort of hitmen. Apparently it's kind of a cheesy show, maybe a little bit. And it's got sort of hitman kind of people on it. You should be practicing that.
Okay. Well, you think I look like a bad guy?
Well, you can. Anybody can. I mean, I can be a bad guy. I can put a hit on you.
No,
anybody can do it. Yeah. If you look at Catherine Zeta-Jones, she's played a mafia mom kind of. One of my students was in a movie with her where he played her son, and she was a mafia woman, and a criminal, but you need to be preparing for those roles and be ready to do them, be watching them. Everybody should watch The Godfather. Every human alive should watch all three. It's a masterpiece in acting.
They were amazing.
Oy. Yeah.
There you go. To your success. Once again.
Success, yeah.
Thank you. I do want to mention Kirsten has recommended Gio Leone for Daily Struggles. Anyway, I just thought I'd let that out there.
Yes, he's amazing. He's amazing. I can send you some of his work. He, aside from being like an amazing actor, he's also just a lovely man. So easy to work with, really dedicated. Yeah.
Awesome.
And he's a lawyer, so he's self-represented, but sooner or later he's going to need an agent, Jenny.
Oh.
Because so there. But yeah.
Hey, okay, Kirsten.
Lawyer too.
Sorry. We didn't get that. What was that? Sorry.
I was just saying, in addition to being an actor, he's a lawyer too. I have a lot of clients who have really interesting either previous lives or concurrent lives.
Okay. Well, being a lawyer can help out in the acting world as well, as long as you're an entertainment lawyer.
Well, it can help. Yeah, anybody can do a contract, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you're a contract lawyer, it works.
Well, so we got a
Love
fan
The Godfather.
here.
Yeah, me too.
Especially when the poor guy wakes up with the horse's head in his bed. Oh my God, was that bad or what? Oh,
I know. I remember watching that as a child, just being like, "Oh,
was that traumatizing
what is
or
that,
what?
Dad?"
Huh?
Oh my God, yeah. Especially growing up with horses, that was just like
No. Hey, listen, I wanted to ask you, there's a lot of people who are inspired. Unfortunately, we're running out of time. We got 5 minutes left, but we have enough time to cover this. Someone who's inspired out there, he wants to do some short films, wants to do some skits and all that. I mean, it's nice to think about it. What is that kick in the butt they need to actually get this going? What's the suggestion you have for these people?
To actually get it going?
Yeah.
The first thing I would say is start reading scripts that are being produced now. Most of the time when people are starting to go into production, they don't spend enough time respecting the work and the format of the work. You need to understand how series are written. Most of the time there's an A-B plot, for example. This is something I teach in my scene study class that very few coaches teach. There's an A-B plot. So in the A plot, there's the relationship between the two leads. So say you have like How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days or whatever. You have the girl who thinks she can get any guy and the guy who thinks he can't be got. So then below that is the B plot of two people who are even more self-absorbed than the two mains. And we learn from the two people in the B plot how terribly bad the behavior is of the people in the A plot. So there's always A and B plots, and that's true for TV as well. So learn how, or for series, I should say, it's not really TV anymore, but learn how scripts are written and write them well. Once you get inspired by that, then start to incrementally make small 1 minute films, 1 minute, not films, 1 minute movies or 1 minute shows, just to learn how to do it. And once you've done that, then just go a little bigger and a little bigger and a little bigger. But start small and learn how to use the medium. You'll gain confidence that way.
I could just hear the questions being yelled out there from the millions of people around the world. Okay, it's nice. Get it out there. I'm alone. What do I do? All you need is a tripod, a little stand, and your iPhone or your cell phone could do the trick to do the filming.
Make sure to put your cell phone, your aspect ratio horizontal. I lose my mind every time I see something that comes my way that's vertical. But yeah, absolutely. Set it up in your room. Learn how to dress a set. Understand mise-en-scene, and you're way far ahead of most people who are making movies. So mise-en-scene is what is in the frame. So if you dress your frame with things that tell the story of the character, it's going to be so much more rich and more interesting. You've done that with your show. You know, so you want to make sure that the frame tells the story. It's one of the worst things that people do is have a very boring looking show. We want to be in it.
Oh my God!
I have
you
one
know
more
what?
thing
This
to
is
say.
Yeah. Go on.
You can get a lot of stuff online. You can get a lot of free video online. So if you want to get a house, you know, to show a house, you can get the stock video and just show a tiny segment of it. You can build your own show.
Do you give any workshops related to this, like the free workshops? Any tips?
I don't on how to make films because it's not really my milieu. The workshops I do are the free stuff I do is on my Facebook group, Screen Acting School, and I mentor. So 2 minutes and then we're done.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So
I do mentor directors as well. I have a couple of award-winning directors that I work with. One is Brent Hodge, who does stuff with SNL, and the other is Mike Trainer, who just did a short film and won Best Director Award, among others. So I do work with directors to help them learn how to do this. Just jump into the free group and ask questions. I'm happy to answer them.
Kirsten, 30 seconds, your closing comments.
Well, first of all, Jenny, thank you so much for introducing me to Robert. He rocks as usual. It's been 20 years since I've seen her, but she's still the cool chick that she was 20 years ago. And for anybody who's listening, who has a dream, just take small steps. Every day, take a step. Take a step toward dream, and eventually you will get there. And you'll wake up one morning and go, how did I get here? And there you are. You're living your dream.
Casey, thank you so much for being on our show. Big heartfelt thank you on behalf of myself, Jenny, and all of the viewers who tuned in tonight and will tune in after this broadcast. Thank you very much. Please stand by, because after all this is said and done, we're going to make you hook up with someone really special. It's a secret. I won't tell you. Stay right there. Okay, I'll be with you in a minute. Good night.
Good night.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Our guest tonight, all the way from Sunshine Coast, British Columbia, the lovely, the talented, and the amazing Kirsten Clarkson. What a beautiful show we had tonight. Thanks to each and every one of you for tuning in. We invite you to tune in next week at the same time, same place, same reason. Our guest is going to be Teresa Pichano, who will be concluding the Women's Empowerment Month here in September on the Rob's Inner Circle. Thanks again, everybody, for tuning in, and we'll see you next week. Good night, everybody.